Hey guys, Aeonhack here, and I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is to make server-client applications. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new project here. Going to start with the Windows Form application. And the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and save this project. I'm just going to call it Chat Program. And then we need to add a console application. Now you wouldn't be able to do this without saving it first, so that's why I did that. So add a new project, console application. Okay, the console application is going to be our server, and the Windows Form application is going to be our client, our chat client in this case. So let's go ahead and resize this, add some controls onto here. Okay, copy that. So this top one up here is going to be just kind of our chat log, and this is going to be our input fields. So let's bring this down a little bit, bring it over here, add a button. Alright, awesome. Now I'm going to be using some code I've already written. You guys are free to use this as well, and actually I intend you guys to use it. Since that's kind of what this whole tutorial is based around. It's very easy to use, and it can be pretty advanced. It has a lot of advantages to it. So I'm going to add a class to my Windows Form application, new item, class, and I'm just going to copy and paste it over into here. This code will be available on Pastebin or elsewhere, I don't know. But don't worry, you don't have to go through and copy all of this down, because that would be ridiculous. Let's go ahead and go to the console application and do the same thing. New item, class. We're going to be copying something different into this one. Really, all you need to know at this point is that the client, which is our Windows Form application, is using something called the user client, okay, in this version 1.2.0. And the server is using something called the server client and the server listener. It's also version 1.2.0. So the only real difference between the user client and the server client here is that the user client can raise events safely from other threads without throwing cross-thread exceptions. That way you can interact with the interface. So that's pretty convenient. It actually does this using async operation, which I don't see many people use, unfortunately, because it's so easy to do. It's really solves all the problems to cross-threading, I feel, at least. And then the only other difference here is that the user client has this connect method in which you can connect to servers and stuff, and the server client does not have it. Instead, it has sub new here, which takes a socket, buffer size, blah blah blah. That's how it initializes the socket. But I'll get into the gory details of this in a different video, because I want to keep this simple for you all at the moment. So let's go ahead and go into our Windows Form application for now. Declare a new instance of the user client. So what we're going to do is private with events client as new user client. Now, if you're not familiar with this, what with events does is similar to how when you have well, I'll just show you right here. See how you have a button right here, and whenever you select this button, you have access to all of its events here. With events does the same thing. It just automatically creates the handlers for you, which is really, really nice. But this, of course, will only work with a class that actually has events in it, or controls, or whatever. Alternatively, you would have to add the handlers. Sorry, I can't talk. Alternatively, you'd have to manually add the handlers. You know, add handler, address of, blah blah blah. But we don't care about that. We're doing it the easy way, because we're smart. So, client. We're going to select client from this list, and exception thrown, read packet, state changed, and write packet. Before we get into those, let's go ahead and just establish the connection. Clients connect host 127, which is just a loopback address, in case you didn't know. I assume you do, though, if you're getting into networking and sockets and chat clients. I hope you know what the local host address is. We're just going to connect to 32456. The port number is arbitrary. You can use whatever you want in the range of 1 and 65,535. So, except maybe like port 80, because that's HTTP. You probably don't want to use it. Anyways, sorry. So right here we have some events. Client exception thrown. So if the client throws some kind of connection error, or whatever exception it may throw, it'll raise this event, and you can see what that error was. State changed right here will be called when the client connects or disconnects. And then we have read packet and write packet. So this class here, where is it? Okay, this class here, user client, and the server client as well, they actually buffer the packets. So what a packet is it's a, how do I describe this? It's a chunk of data that gets sent over the connection. That's a packet, right? And so let's say your buffer size is, no. I'm not gonna get into this. I told myself I wouldn't get into the advanced stuff until the next video, so sorry. You gotta go watch that if you want to hear all that garbage. So read packet is whenever data is coming in. We'll just say that. Write packet is whenever you've written something, it went out. State change, we already went over that. Okay. Let's go ahead and write a logging method here. So private sub log message as string, and text box 1 append text. So I append that message, append text, environment. There it goes. Okay. Environment new line. So what this does is it just adds whatever text we give it, and then it puts a new line under it so that our next subsequent message, I think that's the right word, doesn't come directly after our previous message. We have a line separating them. So you definitely want to do that. So let's go ahead and log exceptions really quick, I guess. Log message. Actually something we need to do to make our lives a lot easier here. We need to permarray our args as objects array. And we just do a string format. Yeah, we'll do a string format. Wait, will we? Yeah, we will. Okay, sorry. String format. Wait. Will this work? I don't know if this is going to work or not. I hope it does, because I'm going to feel really stupid if it doesn't work. But, string format, basically, you pass in your blah blah, your string or whatever, and if you have something like this, these are the perimeters. So right here you do, like hello, and this would be, this right here, curly bracket 0, curly bracket would represent hello. And you put that throughout this main string here. And then 1 would be like another perimeter over here, worlds, and then all the ones would represent the world, as shown here. This, I really, really hope this is gonna work, because that'd be really embarrassing if it didn't. So log message, and the message is just going to be exception 0 and EX. And of course, string format here with the arguments, it just calls the toString method. So we pass in the exception object directly instead of saying exception toString, which is really convenient. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with state changed, kind of. Except this time we're going to do connected. We're going to say connected. Same thing for write packets. Instead, this time we're doing it with size. And this is going to say packet sent. And gosh, why do I do this? I don't know, does anybody else do that where you type a word and first two letters are capitalized? I don't know. So I guess I should probably cover this. The parameters here in the events. Sender is obviously the client that is raising the event. In this case, it's just our single static kind of client here. And then we have the exception object in the exception thrown one. We have the connected parameter and state changed, size and write packet, which is the size of the packet that was sent. And read packet, we have the data that's actually coming in to us. So good to know, I suppose. Let's go ahead and import system text and declare a message. The message has string. I did it again. Equals encoding UTF-8 get string data, and we're just gonna log that message. Wait, are we? Is it? Yeah, we are. Okay. Received. I hope I spelled that right. Message. Okay. That should do it. Oh, we need to actually handle the send button. That would be pretty helpful, I think. Okay, so done message. This one's gonna be a little bit different. So it's not gonna be a string, it's going to be a byte. So as byte array, not string, byte array. Pay attention. Encoding UTF-8 get bytes textbox2.text. And then we're just going to send that through our client. Send the message. Yay. Okay, so that's it. Our little chat client here is done. Simple enough. So let's go over here to the module, our server, and declare our server instance like we did with the client. So private with events server as new server listener. Hope you guys are following along. Okay, so essentially the same events that we have with the client. So each client connected to our server will raise its events. So exception thrown, read packet whenever the client sends the server data. This will be this event will be raised whenever our client, or whenever the socket on our server end sends out data back to the client. It's going to call this write packet event here, which should be up here. Why did I do it in that order? Okay. The only difference here really is that we have this server state changed event. Instead of connected, it actually indicates whether or not the server is listening. It's in the listening mode. And a listening socket basically just says, I'm listening for sockets. If you want to connect to me, go ahead. And I'll handle all of that for you. So that's what the server listener does. And it stores each socket as a server client. But that's kind of irrelevant. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Server listen our port 32456, and console read key. Okay, nice. Essentially the same thing here that we did before. Listening. Remember, just pay attention to the parameters that our events give us access to. So we have the sender, which is the server here, and the listening parameter here, which indicates whether or not it's listening. Client exception thrown, it gives you the sender, which is the server, and it gives you a client object, which is a socket that's kind of like connected to us. And the exception, connected, blah, 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 blah. Don't really care about that, right? So what's the exception? Now, one thing we should probably do is kind of identify who is doing what. So instead of doing like client exception as our little message here, we'll do something like well, I guess we could still do exception, but it'd be like No. I should have done it that way. It doesn't matter what order these are in. So you could do exception could still come after the one over here. Just for the record. Client.endpoint. The endpoint is just their IP address and the port that they're connected to. So useful to know that. And we're going to do that same thing for all of this stuff. Let's say sent. That's going to be the size. Okay. And when we read our data. So let's go ahead and convert this to, before I forget, import system text. Don't forget that, otherwise this won't work very well. The message as string, we're just going to convert it back to a string, so encoding UTF-8, get string from the data. We're going to log that message. We're going to say read, and it's going to be message. And then let's go ahead, just to demonstrate that this is working, we're just going to echo back out the data, maybe append something to it. So message equals message and oops, and dot dot dot, and then can message out as byte equals encoding UTF-8, get bytes, blah blah blah. I feel like a drone. Just, I don't know. My girlfriend tells me I'm monotone, and I think I probably am. What can you do though? Client send, message out. So client send is actually the server client, okay? So when we call send on that, it sends it back out to the client that's connected to us, the one that actually sent us this read packet. So we're just kind of responding to it. We modify its message, and we send it back to the person that sent it to us. So I'm gonna just kind of go over this really quick. Yeah. Okay, looks good. 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay. So let's debug this. Run the console or the server first, console application. Start a new instance. Oh, I really hope the perimeter stuff in the chat and the client works. So run an instance of the client. Oh god, please work. Oh, okay, thank god. So you can see here the client connected to us. Right now it's just showing obviously my local host IP address. So we're going to test. Okay, so what happened here is when I sent test, it sent it to the server, and the server said, okay, I'm reading this message from the client, so it echoes it out. Then it modifies it and sends it back out, remember? So it raised the sent event, which sent out 7 bytes. And then over here the client received the word test with 3 dots appended to it. So that's working great. Now what if we have multiple clients and we kind of want to have a little chat room going on here? Something we could do, okay, let's get rid of this stuff. We're going to do for each C as server client in server clients if, well, yeah. If not C is client, then C.send data. Okay, so what this does here is it goes through all the clients that are currently connected to the server, and if it's not the one that sent us the packet, then it'll send them, it'll kind of echo it out to the rest of the people that are connected. And let's go ahead and demonstrate that, I guess. The reason we do it this way is because in the client, generally you want to instantly log the message that you're sending into your local chat, so it seems instant, seems a lot faster to the end user. It saves a little bit of bandwidth too, which is nice. So we're going to need to connect with two chat programs. This video is getting kind of long. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize it's already up to 20 minutes. So create 2 instances of this and hope it doesn't burn flames, which it did. Why did it do that? Oh, I know why. I'm an idiot. Okay, ignore this. Ignore everything you see right now. Your eyes are deceiving you. Have to change some max connections. I forgot to set a default value on that. I could probably edit this out, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. So once again, run 2 instances of the client. Okay, you're good. Okay, they're both connected. So this one's going to say test. And this one over here, receive test. Awesome. So this one says hello. This one over here received hello. Let's go ahead and run a 3rd instance even. And you can see here that they have different ports that they're connected to, so you can kind of differentiate them that way. But normally, in a real life situation, you'd see very different IPs for each person instead of 127 blah blah blah. Which this and yay. And both of them got the yay message, right? So it's working just as we intended. So that's the server client applications in a nutshell. If you want to get into more advanced stuff like packet headers, serialization, I'll probably cover user states in these sockets, then you should watch the next video. So see you guys then.